today's video is going to be on what works better for foundation, a beauty blender or a foundation brush. So with that said, let's get started. At first I'm just going to pin my hair back, and I just colored it. And if you know anything about coloring your hair right after you do it, it's always got like this super weird, overly soft texture to it. Okay, so fun fact, in case you didn't know, your setting spray can also be used as a primer, not only the MAC Fix Plus. So any of them can be used as a primer. So I'm just going to go ahead and spritz my face with this NYX Matte Finish setting spray. Okay. Okay. That's gonna dry for a second. And today I'm going to be using a really old foundation. Just didn't feel like getting out my NYX foundation. This is the e.l.f. foundation. Okay. Oil free with SPF 15 sunscreen. Doesn't really say what kind of foundation it is. Knowing me, it's probably full coverage, and it is in the shade Sand. So it's also almost out. 2 pumps will hopefully do the trick. Like I said, this is probably going to be a little dark. This half of my face is going to be with a beauty blender. The other half is going to be with a brush. So alright, so first side with the beauty blender. Okay, so this is the beauty blender side. Doesn't look very full coverage. But now we're going to do foundation brush side. So this was the foundation brush. This was the beauty blender. Can you tell the difference? I personally can. So I will say that if you want a more dewy, glowy coverage, Damp Beauty Blender is calling your name. If you want a more full coverage, I would stick with your brush. If you also want something faster, you will... We saw that, right? Okay. If you want something faster, I would go with the brush. I also personally like to use a buildable foundation. So a buildable foundation is one that you can do several layers with. I don't know why I did so many pumps, holy cow. And it not look cakey. It blends out really well, it looks nice. And so I'm gonna show you like my NYX foundation. That is my go-to foundation is NYX Total Control. It is a very, very buildable foundation. So let's just buff this out with the brush and I'll show you. So this is still very damped. What is that? I don't know what that is. This is still damp to my face, so we're going to let it dry down for a minute. But you see what I mean as far as we're not cakey. We're not just sitting in pores. It's like blended out very nicely, and it's very full coverage. So also, if you are wanting a full coverage, super cheap drugstore foundation, e.l.f. is your go-to. They are cheap and they do not disappoint. The reason I have this, May of last year, well, May of 2016, my truck got broken into and I'd been staying with a friend and my makeup bag was in there and all my makeup got stolen. So I went that day, because we were going out that night, I went that day and bought all new makeup. Well, I was balling on a budget, so I got all e.l.f. products, and I still use a lot of my e.l.f. products. I don't know what the shelf life on foundation is, but girl, I've had this foundation now for 2 years. I have busted the front of it, and it still lasts. Like, I'd say for a solid like 4 months. I used this every single day, and there's still over half a bottle. And back then, when I tell you I was caking my foundation on, we was caking it on. So, I'm not endorsed. e.l.f. does not sponsor me, but I am recommending to you an e.l.f. foundation if you want a cheap, good coverage, good quality, not cakey foundation. So, that is foundation brush versus beauty blender. Don't forget to, we ain't losers over here. Well, this is not the loser page. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. That's eyeliner on my thumb. Don't ask why. Give my video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I post videos twice a week. I don't have a set date, but feel free to leave me comments on what you would like to see, and we'll make it happen. Bye, y'all.